Welcome back to the new series for Satisfactory. This is Nico here coming with episode 2. And of course, guys, if you haven't already seen episode 1, I would suggest watching it as it's going to be a continuation of the series itself. But yeah, pretty much from where we first left off is we built the hub in a centralized position. We've of course got some smelters going, we've got some constructors over here. We've got the constructors going into the storage right here. This is for the iron. We've also got some limestone constructing into concrete here, which is going into this storage. And we do in fact have a copper node over here that we just haven't taken advantage of yet. But yeah, should be a pretty good episode today. So today, I think what we're going to be focusing on is those two milestones that we talked about at the end of the last episode. So the two milestones we're kind of working towards here are going to be first base building and logistics. The reason is that way we can start kind of pre-building some sort of factory or some flooring. Logistics as well, so we can start splitting and merging our machines, so we can go from one Mark 1 into, multiple. But yeah, so we're probably going to focus on these two. I'm not too sure how long this video will kind of go for yet. We might even see if we can knock over this field research, just to see what the map is going to give us, as I don't believe the map was actually in as a reward from the last time I played. And then tier 2 is going to be all about the next lot of progression in the game. So with the assembler, which is going to start crafting rotors, and the frames, which we do in fact need one. But right now, it's all good. So first we're just going to run over to our machines, just going to collect our resources. So we do in fact have plenty of plates and rods. And I know for a fact we got a lot of copper. A lot of concrete. So yeah, we'll just go pick all this up. 244 concrete is definitely quite a bit. Can't complain. So yeah, we'll just run over to our portable miner over here, and we will pick up the resources. So we'll only get 100, unfortunately. So as I said in the last video, guys, there is mods in the game. I'm not too sure about whether they support the current update. Due to this being the experimental side of the game, because this will give you access to update 8, if you weren't already aware. But yeah, one of the mods do increase the actual stack size, which is fantastic. I believe it goes up to even 500. So we'll actually put this copper ore into the smelter over here, just so it can start smelting up all the copper for us, which is awesome. We might just double check our fuel source. So 200, we'll just top these up. And then we will place the other fuel into here. So we got a bit of inventory already that's for storage. So as I said, we'll probably lock on the base building first and knock this one over and done with. So as you can see, we just need 6 more rods, which is fantastic. Gonna need a lot more rods for the next part, but that's okay. At least this way we're already done for this one. And I'll let the audio play as well.
Milestone reached. You have unlocked several structures aimed to provide the first needed to build basic factory infrastructure and improved overview. Building these will provide a grid for more advanced organizing and sectioning of your factory.
So, if you look to the top right of our screen, you can see pod will return in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So what this will do is it will force us to not be able to research again until that time has gone down. However, we can still actually click the next one that we'd like to. We can actually hit select milestone, which is going to track at the top right for the materials we need. So we need 150 of each, which we do not have. Pretty close to the plates, which is good. Rods are quite behind, and we need a lot more wire. So what we might do is, because we don't actually have a constructor just yet for that, we might start constructing some wires. So yeah, again, pretty, pretty tedious part of the game so far, but that's okay. If I'm not even mistaken too, we could probably actually start setting up the constructor for the copper. Which I might actually end up doing. Or I might even wait till we get logistics, because logistics is going to provide us to be able to split that. And then we can construct some wires. We can also then construct some cables too. So yeah, I think that might be the way to go about it. So even though we do have 300, I'm just going to keep crafting them into wires, simply because I am going to actually make a few extra cables, as it's going to be handy to have on us. If we scroll down, you can see now we can craft biomass, leaves, and wood. So this is just going to be able to pretty much transform.
Fix-it freighter re-entry complete.
And anytime some dialogue plays, I'll just let it play out. So yeah, so we'll be able to pretty much transform 10 leaves into 5 biomass fuel, which is going to provide, I guess, better quality overall fuel. So for now, what we can do is we can go over here, place our items in like so, to be able to see what we need. A lot of what we're going to need, obviously, is going to be rods, but that's okay. And while we're kind of waiting for these to generate for the rods, we might just go into our little thing over here and we'll look into foundations. But before we do that, we can see we can actually make the biomass burner just in case we need it, which we may end up doing very, very shortly, because we're going to need another biomass burner, at least 1, maybe 2, to power the Miner Mark 1. We're going to need 2 smelters, if not 3, and then we're going to need quite a few constructors for our copper. But however, for right now, we'll leave that. So we can see in organization as well, or foundation, sorry, we can see the foundations for what they cost. Not too expensive, of course, but you can kind of see how quickly these are going to ramp up. We do have some walls here, and we're just kind of having a look at what else we've unlocked. A lookout tower, which we, it's just nice to have. Which I might end up actually building one up on that cliff over there, or even maybe here. But yeah, so we might just have a quick look at how many rods we got. So 20 rods, which again is a very tedious part of the game. Alright, so in terms of resources, we've got... we might actually turn all this into wire, at the very least. So you can see as well, we still have 49 reinforced plates, which is, realistically, it's amazing. It's definitely helped us out a lot. Because crafting the reinforced plates, you can see, takes 6 clicks. Quite a few screws, quite a few plates. And to craft the screws, again, it's 4 screws for 1 rod, so therefore you need 12. So you need to actually use 3 rods just to be able to make 1 reinforced iron plate. So yeah, it's just good to know. And again, we've got a few wires here. So, just to break things up a little bit. And we'll just go back, have a quick little look. See how our resources are kind of building up. 52 extra iron plates, which is actually really, really good. We're going to need a lot more rods. So, what's this little fella doing? So while we're waiting for this, what we might have a look at is... So we might get the portable miner up here. We'll kind of just start laying out this area, I think. Because it's going to be most likely one of the first things that I end up doing, as it will probably take the least amount of time. And because also it's also not already set up too, so it ends up being a lot easier. So we'll pick up this. We will then place our Miner Mark 1 like so. Alrighty, so this is where things are going to get very tricky. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to place one smelter here. Another smelter right next to it. And another smelter like so. So what we're going to do, once we do unlock logistics, is we're going to feed this miner mark 1 into this middle smelter. We're going to use the splitter that we end up unlocking. It's going to split this line into left and right. So it's going to cut it in thirds, which we will then end up laying some constructors. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to use one constructor here, another constructor right next to it, like so. It's not really next to it. Line it up a little bit. Again, not too straight, but that's okay. And we do try and line them up. Alrighty, so this is going to construct the copper ore, the copper ingots into wires, which is going to then construct this into cables. But for now, we'll leave these. For this one down here, we're going to make this into wires only. And for this one down here as well, we're also going to make this one into wires as well. So the reason for this is because we do tend to use cables, don't get me wrong, but wires tends to be, as you can see, a much more costly resource, for this one even being 300. And then all we got to do at the end here, which we won't have enough rods for, of course, is then put these 3 into containers. But what we can do is put one container right here for the black cables. And then these 2 can kind of merge into one line again and then go into another container. So we'll kind of just go over quickly, see how our rods are traveling. 47. Quite a bit. So again, what we might do is, because we're waiting, regardless, is we'll set this up. So, because we do in fact have this node right here, we will place this probably for now right here, and then this one here like so, just on top. And we do have plenty of plates, as I said. So and we can kind of hook up these machines for now. Despite this does go through the flooring, the material still travels down the belt. Physics and all. Not too sure how that works, but it does. As I said, just like before, this will split into these 2 smelters. And while we're waiting, actually pre-select these into copper ingots. This one's going to make wires, same with this one. This is then going to make cables. This is also going to make wires. So as you can see, our power has just shut off. So we need to go and investigate on why. So it's either we're generating too much electricity, or consuming too much for what we can provide, or potentially we've ran out of fuel, which we have out of fuel. Which is definitely the better option. Or the much easier option, I should say. So we'll put into leaves like so. And same with this one. So pretty much, guys, with this is a lot of the games. So a lot of the games, people tend to say that once you run out of fuel, depends on the type of game, but for this game in particular, if you run out of power, your machines are tripped and there is nothing generating, you got to think about all those resources that you could be producing, and for all that time you're kind of missing out on for production. So again, while we're waiting for rods to build up, what we might do is we might turn this wood all into some biomass. As you can see, we can craft quite a bit. However, that's okay. You can see as well this wood's going to craft quite a lot of it. This fuel's going to be very beneficial for us because it's going to allow us to pretty much be able to have our machines upkeep a lot longer for a duration compared to the amount of times we've got to constantly come back and put, you know, fuel in again. You know, leaves aren't as bad as pebbles or flowers, but however, it's still not too good. So we would actually be pretty close, I reckon, to having the required amount of rods as well. Also, that's a lot of fuel, which is good. So, you know, you can kind of think about, you know, we have quite a few stacks here, and we only need 2 for the meantime, compared to when we, of course, we do end up getting more machines. But this is definitely going to provide us with quite a bit of fuel for a while. Great. Quite a lot of plates there, and 46 rods. So we aren't going to have enough rods just yet. I believe we might be 20 or 30 shy. Well, we do have enough. Alrighty.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to increase the complexity and efficiency of your factory. We encourage you to consider more verticality when it comes to factory logistics to streamline short-range transportation. The productivity display will help you measure and improve the productivity of individual buildings to aid with optimization.
We're going to need a few extra cables here to set this up. We're then going to need some extra rods. So now that we do actually have both logistics and base building, we can kind of start building our factory to be a little more organized and set it up the way we'd like. So with this one here, we're actually going to place it into this top box. This one here is going to come over here like so, and then go into this box. We're then going to place a merger like so, and it's going to pop into this one like so. So this is going to merge into this line here. It's going to then go into the box or the storage container. Just making sure, of course, that I have actually pre-selected all these. So wire, and pull. And then, lucky last, what we need to do is we need to split this line like so into these 3. And then we're going to have to hook all these up to power. So cable 1. So these all need to be hooked up. Didn't mean to craft that pole, but I would probably need it anyways. So just trying to make sure that I get all the machines hooked up. Like so. So that's all these ones, and then this one just needs to be hooked up. Then we run this pole all the way down here. And then pretty much we're kind of right to set it. We're ready. We'll leave this here. So we're pretty much ready to hook this pole to this one. This will start producing. However, I do know for a fact we're not going to have enough power consumption. So what we're going to do is we're going to run over here and see what we need to make the burner. So we need some more rods and cables. So that could be a problem. So rods and cables. We're going to have to run over here, craft a few cables, and then we'll be good to go. I reckon we're going to probably have to make 2 biomass burners at least, as I don't think one will provide enough energy. And you can see that pod is starting to return too now, which is great. We'll make a few cables. Alrighty, so we will craft 2 biomass burners. And for now, we will place them about here. Try and kind of put them together neatly for now. So this is how it's going to be set up for now. I can only imagine this is going to change, but all in due time, of course. So we're then going to place this one in this pole like so. We're going to have the spare pole run out to about here. Alrighty, so now all we need to do is we just need to run over to here. We just need to get 2 stacks of this fuel. We're going to place it into this biomass burner. And at some point we'll have to put more fuel into these 2. And now we should be able to go over here. And we should be able to connect this pole up. Now it may trip. Oh, never mind, it doesn't. So you can see we're consuming this amount of power. And our capacity is at 100. However, this is going to kind of go up and down because you got to remember these machines aren't actually currently operating at this point. So we'll kind of just we'll just sit around and make sure that everything works appropriately before we kind of run off and do our own thing. That way we've always got some copper creating. So you can see the smelters are all working fine. So these should craft some wires. Yep, wire. And should be a wire coming out of this one any second. Yep, so that one's working fine, and then this one's going to craft us some cables too. Yep, so we can leave this one knowing that this one's functioning fine. What we could do is, because you can see that with this resource here, we're kind of getting a bit of a bottleneck. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this one for the meantime. We're then going to place another constructor, probably about here. So because it wants to clip in like so, we're probably going to have to move this one. So here should be enough. So it should be able to go in. Ah, it's because we had the machine the wrong way. That would be why. Just like so. So then we're going to make this into concrete. And then we're going to place another merger right here. And we're going to merge this constructor's resources back into this container. So for now, what we're doing is we're kind of trying to craft as many resources as we potentially can, just so that way we're constantly got resources coming in and out. So the biggest one's going to be iron, which we're definitely going to need to sort out. As you can see, we have, some amount of cables coming in and quite a few amount of wires, which is great. These will kind of stack up very quickly, especially as you kind of walk away. So we're going to go over here real quick and we'll have a look at this, as this is definitely going to be bottlenecking, which it definitely is. So what we will need to do to this one making sure our power's working fine. So we have still, a little bit of a wiggle room, about 20. So we'll probably need to craft at least another 1 or 2 biomass burners maybe. If we wanted to split these 2. So if we do that as well, that will just, continuously provide us more resources, which is going to help out in the long run. So what we will do is we will dismantle this one and this. Alrighty, so by placing a smelter like here, so we're gonna have to get more cables and wires. So we got, as you can see, these cables and wires are built up, you know, quite significantly, quite quickly, which is great. As that's how the game kind of functions as you kind of walk away, which is awesome. So then we're going to build another smelter about here. We will dismantle this pole. That way it's out of the way. Another smelter is going to go right here. And then another smelter right here. So this is going to go in. It's then going to split. We can get it to split. Not sure why this isn't locking on. So we'll see if this actually goes into the machine. As it was saying, it was too sharp of an angle. Nah, it's working fine. We'll do this one as well. Alrighty, so we'll hook these up real quick. So this is going to, of course, make ingots. This is going to make some ingots, and this is also going to make some ingots, and then we're going to construct all these machines, like so. And then these are all going to make rods. Or we could even do, which we might even just do, nah, we'll do rods, because we'll need rods into screws as well. So these are then going to make rods. Then we will place this in here. We will then have a merger here, like so. So we got rods, so all we need to do now is power these machines. And we'll be good to go. And then we'll connect this one up over here. So we are going to need more biomass burners, which I kind of thought we would. That's okay. So now we will go into this and craft it, maybe about 1 or 2 more. At least for the meantime. We will hook these up. Like so. And this one ran out of fuel anyway, so that's the reason why that tripped. So we will just put the fuel into our inventory because we're going to have to put quite a bit more fuel in. And just like so, we should have more than enough fuel. If not, I would assume we would need one more, but by the looks of it, it's all running smoothly. So, yep, consuming. Yeah, we're definitely good. And then with this one here, what I might do, we will probably need to move this a little bit. Alright, so Just like so. We got the smelters. Need to split these. Hopefully this point here will attach. We'll need to move this smelter a little bit back. We do not want copper ore. Ingots. And we want a constructor here. Here. And we'll need one in the middle. So we will bring this one over here. Should be able to fit one in the middle. No. Very close. So it's going to be a little bit of a mess right now, but that's okay. And we will tidy this all up at some point. So for now this will do. And then all we got to do is hook these machines up once again, which we may start this one. Sorry, just 1 second. Alrighty, so now we're just going to check. Sorry about that, I had a phone call. Just going to quickly check to make sure that these all operate correctly, which they all should. So we got iron plates coming out of all these machines, going into here. Going to double check to see our power consumption. So we definitely have more than just about double, really, which is great. So yeah, kind of got quite a bit of power we can play around with. So now you can see we're going to be crafting quite a few more plates now and iron rods. Coming back over to here real quick, we're going to see that we will need some screws, but that's okay. We'll kind of just make those screws, I reckon. So yeah, we'll probably craft the screws for what we need. Should have definitely quite a few rods, yeah. That's definitely pretty much kind of made everything quicken up a little bit. Run over here, I reckon there's probably about, 200. Oh, maybe 500. So yeah, you can see the resources pile up much quicker. Alrighty. So now we just need to place all the resources in. We will just need to craft some screws and then we'll be pretty much good to go. So I think the goal for this episode is going to be to... oh yeah, you can see we also have this here. So yeah, I think the goal is going to be to maybe craft the space elevator for this episode, but I don't really see it probably happening because of this episode's being already 35 minutes long in terms of recording. But I will at least be getting the assembly and potentially set up as well. So that way we can kind of have a look at that, play around with that a little bit. Alrighty, so we'll place all these items in, and this will give us the next upgrade.
The map has been unlocked. Milestone reached. The molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, will allow R&D to provide new technologies, items, and buildings based on samples collected in the field. To ensure a greater chance of success during exploration, an upgraded tool belt has been provided, as well as an object scanner and beacons. Note: the object scanner requires calibration via the MAM to enable detection of specific objects.
Alright, so that map can be pretty handy. We can place markers. Would be nice if things are already kind of pre-placed for us, but that's okay. So yeah, we'll be able to kind of explore the map and place markers for anything we find that we might want to go over later. So that site could be one of them, which will be over here somewhere. But for now, what we might do is we'll bring up this menu and we will find the research. You can now craft personal storage boxes like this one over here, but we won't need that right now. So we can actually craft this research machine. Righty. So we'll go get our slug and this resource that we got. I do believe we use flower petals for something too. So for the slug we will research. This is going to give us power shards, which we can use to pretty much amp the speed up of our machines. So we will probably craft the screws for this. Start the research for this one. That'll be handy to get. So yeah, we'll probably craft some screws real quick. You can see we can make a hog protein and a power shard, which we're going to craft because we're going to need those. I believe we're kind of looking for about 200 screws. And we will research this item, I believe. Oh, can't afford. Can't afford. We need 4 more of these to get this one. We won't be able to do that one. That's okay. So we should be able to scan logs? No. Oh, we got to craft the object item. Yep. So if we craft this scanner here, it should be able to locate the slugs for us, which will be pretty helpful. But now we'll probably chuck all this fuel back in as it's kind of, you know, bit in our way. We probably won't need this. Put this item back in. And just like so, that's our inventory sorted. Quite a few rods and plates. So yeah, I think what we might do is we might build the lookout tower. Yep, which we have enough resources, so we'll go build that. That fella just scared me a little bit. Alrighty, so we do have a few trees restricting our view, I guess. So I kind of want to see what it's like. Alright, so ladder goes here. And we'll go up the tower. Alrighty, so yeah, so this is probably where I'm going to leave this episode. So what we've done so far is we've hooked up, crafted a few machines to kind of increase the efficiency to craft some more concrete, which is good because we did already have one line there, but now we do have two. We could nearly get away with three, but for now we'll leave it. This one here is going to be all of our copper that we've done behind this wall that we've seen, and this is now our current factory for our iron. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy, of course, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. But other than that, I'll see you in episode 3, which episode 3 we will start making our way to getting the assembly, setting all that up, as well as, of course, probably getting the space elevator built as well. But other than that, guys, hope you have a fantastic day.